For latest updates and short audio clips, follow us on Instagram, Reading the Author.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Today we have a very special author with us. She is just 12 years old and she has written a couple of books. Please welcome Anagha Ratish, the author of Celestia Chronicles and a World Full of Intricacies. Thank you so much for coming on our show, Anagha. I'm really excited for this conversation.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm looking forward to being a part of your podcast.
So, basically before we get into the podcast and know much more about your book, about your vision and all those things, I would like you to please, just share about your journey of being an author. Like, कब आपने सोचा कि नहीं अब मुझे एक book लिखनी चाहिए and all those things.
So, I've been reading and writing for as long as I can remember. So, I've been writing before Celestia Chronicles and A World of Intricacies. I've written short stories and novellas. So I didn't consciously take a decision to write Celestia Chronicles. So it started out as a short story for my English class, which eventually evolved into a novel. And A World of Intricacies was just supposed to be a couple of poems that I'd compiled so that it'd be easier to remember. But eventually it turned out into a whole collection.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yes. See, you're about to say something.
Yeah. So the best way I can describe my journey of being an author is exhilarating, because it's been writing the book has been exhausting and yet so exciting. But the feeling of actually publishing a book and then holding the paperback in my hands, it's terribly exciting.
Indeed. Okay, so can you share with something about your books? What does it have? Some insights from both of your books?
Yeah, certainly. So, Celestia Chronicles is a fantasy because I'm particularly fond of fantasies. So, I'll just give a brief synopsis about the book. So, Celestia is supposed to be a perfect world with strange powers and shimmering crystal halls, but the beauty hides the thirst for power that rages within the lands. Queen Zara, who is the ruler of the fire-wielding pixies, has shrouded her kingdom in magic and mist.
Okay.
But the barrier is seeping further into the other kingdoms. So Anagha Quicksilver, who is a young human girl who stumbles into this strangely frightening world, has to stop the queen in a battle between good and evil and fire and water. So it's the protagonists of my book are pixies. So and they have they're the people of nature. So they can control Queen Zara controls fire, Anagha Quicksilver controls water, and the other characters have other powers as well.
Okay. So it seems to be really interesting, but can I ask what motivates you to write on these topics? From where did you get such inspirations?
Yeah, so I love reading fantasies, and I've been reading fantasy especially for as long as I can remember. So from a young age I've been exposed to magic and elves and pixies, fairies. So I chose pixies specifically because whenever I came across them in books, they were considered these tiny creatures with bells on their boots and pointy hats, which I found vaguely ridiculous. So they were in books they're always very similar to elves. So I wanted to distinguish the difference. So that's why I chose pixies, and I portrayed them they're not not as flittish as they are in other books. So they're very similar to regular humans, but with powers. And as for my second book, A World of Intricacies, I chose poetry because for the past year or two, I've been more fond of poetry than ever before. So I've been experimenting with new styles of poetry, and so I wanted to like compile a book of all that I've written.
Okay. So basically, like, I want to share a small incident of mine with you. Like, when I was in my class 9th, I guess around I was, I guess, 14 years old. Then my teachers were insisting me, or there was a short story writing competition, I guess, and I have written a story there, and my friends and teachers motivated me, okay, now you also have to write, you have written very well. And so in that you can say heat of the moment, I started writing a book, and it was a collection of short stories. And to be very honest, at that time, I was in my hometown. It's very small city in Uttar Pradesh, and we were unaware of the publishing thing and all those things. So what I did, I just printed from my own printer and just stapled that and just started distributing to my classmates. And the reaction of my classmates and all the teachers have changed कि okay, अच्छा इसने book लिखी हुई है, अच्छा ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें होती थी. So can you share like what was your parents' reaction when you first shared like कि अच्छा ठीक है मम्मी पापा, I want to write a book? What was their reaction?
So like it's not like I hadn't written books before that, so they weren't very surprised. So because they knew that they knew whenever I was writing like a short story or like a novella. So Celestia Chronicles wasn't my first novel. So although it's my first published book. So they weren't very surprised. But then when I finished it, they saw how interested I was about it, and they saw that it was like 30,000 words. They were like, oh wow, we should read this. And then they read it, and then they saw the potential. So and then they helped me get it published, and yeah.
Okay. And the main what I feel, the main role of a teacher, जो आप कह सकते हैं कि I'm not getting that exact word, that the main what is that word for that, the main role of being in a school life is of teachers. So what's the reaction of the teachers when they heard about, okay, you have published a couple of books, so how they treat you now?
So I mean, I'm kind of known for my like reading and writing at my school. So like they knew that if anybody in their class ever published a book, then it would probably be me, because I'd always express an interest in that. So but then when I told them that I'd published a book, they were like so excited, because I was only 12 at that time. I'm almost 13 now. So and then they were very supportive. So like they bought the book and gave me feedback, and they encouraged me. So but they aren't treating me any different specifically, but I wouldn't want them to. So like sometimes my friends in class refer to me as their celebrity friend, but otherwise no.
And any sort of special treatment you are getting as of now when it comes to the behavior of people surrounding your relatives and all those things?
No, not really. I mean, like right now, because of the pandemic, I haven't really met any of my friends, like except for online. But maybe it would be different if it were like offline, like in real life. But it would be kind of weird if they did like treat me specially. I wouldn't like want them to.
Indeed. Okay. There's a question comes in my mind just now, like you're in such a young age, and at that time, what I personally feel that people at your age, like 10 to 12, 13, 14 years, they are not specific about anything. Like they are just switching between painting, singing, dancing, writing and all those things. But why you specifically choose writing over any other things like that?
Oh, actually, like I haven't specifically chosen writing, because I also dabble in singing and art and ballet. So I have like a range of hobbies. So writing is not like the only thing that I do. So
Oh, okay. So there are lots of other things as well which you do except
Yeah.
writing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And can
Although
you...
writing is like
Huh.
the one that I'm the most
Huh.
passionate about.
Writing is primary and other are, secondary type.
Yeah.
I can say
Yes.
that. Yeah. Okay. And I must say that, managing studies and writing must be tough for you. So can you share like what are the problems you faced while writing and getting published and all the like, what are those things?
So I didn't really face any trouble like with getting it published, but writing the book was like a breeze through like the first half of the book, but then the second half, or especially like the last few chapters, that part was like really hard because like this is a story that's been living in my head for like a year, and so it was like really hard to know how to end it because I knew exactly what was going to happen like throughout the rest of the series. So it was hard to know like when to end, like whether to end it in a cliffhanger or like answer all the questions. But then so I like stalled for as long as possible for like a couple of months. But then in the end I just like sat down to do it and then ended it in a cliffhanger.
Okay. And was it easy to manage studies and writing together? Like how you do that?
See, I never like considered writing as like a chore. So studying is like totally different from writing. So writing is something I do like with reading. So it's not like it's not like I set a routine and like I say that I have to just write from like 4 to 5. It's not like that. Like whenever I feel like it or whenever I have the time, I just sit down to write. And I balance it with my reading. So studies are like never an issue.
Okay, so basically, writing is a sort of random thing. Like you're one of those people who believe that writing or creativity is something which comes to you. You can't just chase it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really amazing. And like, what's upcoming in future? Like, what can we expect? You're working on any other novels or any other books? What's upcoming next?
As I mentioned before, A World of Intricacies, which is my second book, was published like a few weeks ago. And besides that, I'm working on the sequel to Celestia Chronicles.
Okay.
I'm about halfway through that.
Okay.
And then it'll probably be published like in a few months. And apart from that, I'm also working on a sequel to the first book of Celestia Chronicles. So it's like set 100 years before the events of Fire and Water. I can't reveal much about it. Like I don't want to ruin the suspense. But yeah, those are the things that I'm working on.
Okay. So there's lots of work coming up next for the readers.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I personally feel, Anagha, is like if any child do something so special at such an age, then there must be a lots of support of their parents, because that's really important, right? So is there any message you want to convey to your parents from this podcast or from this medium, like anything which you want to say to them?
Yes, of course. So I'm grateful to them because like they've always supported my interests, like whether it's reading or writing or any of the other hobbies of mine. So I'm grateful to them for always encouraging that. And I know that like other parents might have said like, oh, you should focus on your studies right now because you're so young, but they've never said that. So I'm grateful to them for that.
Okay. And just now you said that like parents say कि okay ठीक है, अभी ये पढ़ने की एज है, अभी ये सब चीजें साइड में रखते हैं, ऐसा सुनने में आता हो. So how do you deal with them? Like how do you just tackle, or अगर let's say कभी parents ने किसी relative ने ऐसा बोला तो how do you convey them?
So none of my relatives have actually said that, but if they did, then I would say that like it's not about writing or studying, it's writing and studying. So it's not like if I write then I'm completely leaving studying.
Definitely.
But and because like writing is never like overshadowing studying. I'm just doing both at the same time. So
Basically, the art is in balancing both of them, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And what I feel that many people have to just learn this from you, like how to balance things. Like there are many people who in their later stages also they are unable to balance things like work life and personal life and many other things. But if they know how to balance it, then things are quite easier in our life. Okay, so
Yeah, I agree.
the last question of this podcast to you is like, what are your advices for the upcoming authors? Like, there must be many people who will be just inspired by you and started writing, or there must be many people whose draft is in their laptop or in their phone, in their notebook, but they haven't published it yet. So, what sort of advice you want to give to them?
So for young authors like me, I'd say never to let people tell you that you're too young, because when it comes to art like writing, you're never too young. So and for other new authors, never be afraid to write, like because sometimes you don't write because you're that it's going to be terrible, or you're not very confident about what's going to come next. But never stop yourself from writing, because even like a bad draft is better than no draft at all. So never stop yourself from writing, even if you know that it's not going to be like that good, because you can always come back to it, edit it. But the first thing to do is like start writing.
Definitely. And the line which you said, bad draft is better than no draft, that line is going to be a golden line in future, trust me. Okay, so one more question I want to ask, like can you share with us like what was the most happiest moment of your life till now?
Of my life? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I think it was like actually like holding Fire and Water for the first time. Like that was the first book that I published. So like we didn't we knew like when it was going to be published, like the expected date, but we didn't know like the exact date. So and then one evening I just got a mail saying that on the 15th of December, that's when the book was published.
Okay.
So I just got a mail saying that it's been published, and I was like so excited, and my parents were like even more excited than me. And I was thrilled to actually like see my book listed on Amazon and Kindle and Flipkart. And then like a week or so after that, my author copies arrived. And then like actually holding the book for the first time, like something that I'd worked on for months and months, it was exhilarating, like so exciting.
Definitely. If you work on something from so many times and finally when we see the result, the feeling is on top of the world. And one more question I want to ask, actually. I'm really sorry I just said that has to be going the last question, but again I'm asking. So I want to ask, like when the book was releasing, like what was going in your mind? Like do you feel stressed, or were you excited, or were you nervous कि okay अब book आ गई है, लोगों का क्या opinion होगा, क्या thought होगा, लोग कैसे इस चीज पे react करेंगे? What was going on in your mind?
Mostly I was like excited, like so excited. So I was never really nervous, because like I was never worried about what people would think, because like this is something that I worked on, so I don't need to worry about what other people would think. So of course feedback is very important to me, but I was never worried about it. So but I was excited.
I just loved the way you said okay, it's something like I have been working for so many days, then why do I have to care about what other people will think? And I want to give you a piece of advice, like from you can take from like a elder brothers, supposing that. Okay, basically what I want to say never fall for the trap of numbers, like bestseller, or this much rating or that much, because once you fall for them the excitement is lost somewhere. You will always just pretend okay theek hai, now it's now the book is released, and now I have to just run and be the bestseller. I have to sell this much copies. Just consistently work and everything will fall for you.
I completely agree.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this episode, and if you do, then do follow our podcast Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. And don't forget to buy and read the book. Just go on Amazon, वहाँ पे आप सर्च करें अनघा रतीश, वहाँ पे दोनों बुक्स आ जाएंगे, आप जरूर खरीदें, जरूर पढ़ें. Thank you so much, Anagha, for coming on our show. You are truly an inspiration for everyone out there.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Most welcome.